Director of Ecommerce, XCVI, and Michael Epstein, co-founder and co-CEO PostPilot. Thanks so much for joining us. Maybe just to get started, Eric, maybe you can give us a little background on XCVI and sort of how you end up here.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having us, having me. XCVI has been around since 1996, and it's a women's apparel clothing company. We do wholesale and direct-to-consumer, mostly wholesale until about 10 years ago when we really started digging into the direct-to-consumer e-commerce side of things. We also have several other brands, but today we're specifically talking about XCVI. And we are, we're here to obviously get traffic and sales.
Sure. Yep, Michael?
I'm co-founder of PostPilot, direct mail platform. We work with thousands of Shopify brands. I've been in the trenches as a brand operator for 25 years. I'm old, doing a lot of 8- and 9-figure turnarounds, and direct mail was like the secret sauce that we used at a lot of these big turnarounds to reactivate lapsed customers. And we said somebody needs to build Klaviyo for direct mail, and that was sort of the thesis, and here we are.
Sure. Well, XCVI has been running direct mail for about a year now, as I understand it. Over 40 campaigns across retention, retargeting, and acquisition. Before we get into the numbers, what was sort of the original problem that you guys were trying to solve with the business?
Well, one of our big problems was that paid advertising, it gets more expensive every single year. So we have limited budgets, and our budgets can't rise at the same pace as advertising. So what we've been able to do, or what we've done, is look for additional ways that we can find more customers. And so that was a natural way to start looking for, it was a natural thing to do. So additionally, email's also been a challenge. We've had a lot of success, but in recent years, more and more customers, or brands, I should say, are filling the inbox. So it's really, really hard to find it's finding hard sometimes to get your email out there to get seen by people. So we're looking for ways to get more customers in the front door.
Well, so what about direct mail felt like a different, a solution to some of those issues and a different, better opportunity, perhaps?
Well, we're always willing to test. So something we hadn't done before. The other nice thing about PostPilot is there's a really low cost, a low barrier to entry. It's on demand. So being able to say, well, let's look at try it for the month. Let's see what happens. Let's do a few tests and see if it succeeds. It's not, a catalog can be 6 figures to just start it up, and that's a lot harder to do. So something like a postcard was really an easy way to test and try to find some opportunities.
A lot of brands think of direct mail as a one-off promotional play, a holiday mailer, maybe a sale announcement, but XCVI is running multiple automated flows that send postcards continuously. What made you sort of decide to launch automations instead of just doing those kind of one-offs?
Well, an automation was a natural place to start. It's a lot easier, obviously, to bring back in an existing customer. So to be able to find an audience of someone who's purchased once, let's try to find and bring them back to purchase a second time, or a second time, 2-time purchasers, let's make them a 3-time purchaser. So looking for some of those opportunities, people who haven't been to the website in a certain amount of time, maybe their email got stuck in their promotions tab, or maybe they just kind of forgot about the brand. They needed to be gently nudged. Hey, we're here. So sending out a postcard was an easy way to reactivate customers.
I think that's I give Eric a lot of credit here, because he's really embracing the best practice, which is don't just send these campaigns as one and done or one-off campaigns. Set them as automations. And that's really the innovation I think that we brought to market, was the ability to trigger individually personalized cards on demand in real time based on actual customer behavior. So to Eric's point, one customer purchases for the first time, wait 90 days, and then trigger a card that's like, hey, Eric, we've got new styles in stock, come on back and buy. You're running it just like your automated email flows. So it's literally printing money for you in the background like an email flow would be, but with direct mail, as opposed to having to think, I want to run a campaign this month, and what should I do next month, and what should I do next month? It's great to supplement your automations with those for tentpole events, sale events, new collections, things like that, but you should always have those flows running in the background as well.
Well, and it's even so easy because you integrate with Klaviyo, and being able to set it up in Klaviyo and create that segment and say, hey, now they've met these qualifications, send them a postcard. It's just really that simple.
Can you talk a little bit about how you facilitate that? I mean, I'm assuming that it's not just getting a mailing list turned over to you and then rolling it out. What's involved on your end that sort of amplifies their efforts?
Sure. So we're natively integrated with Shopify. We're natively integrated with Klaviyo. We're very tight with both of those organizations. And again, that was sort of the innovation is you add the app in a click. You can set up a flow just as easily as you would with Klaviyo. You could trigger it based on Klaviyo segments or flows that or segments that you've created or flows that you have. You can even do things like they've gone through your welcome sequence. If they don't convert by the end of your welcome sequence, then trigger a card to go out. That's how a lot of brands are using it today. Of course, give the customer a chance to convert via email. If they don't, let's make sure we get back in front of them before we risk losing them for good. And it's just super easy to do that. You can even do things like they haven't opened or engaged with our email in X amount of time. Now send them a card. And so again, the native integration makes it super easy, and we're going to set it up for you as well. And again, that's really the best practice, to have these flows that are running all the time and sort of making you money without having to do anything.
Sure. Well, let's talk about how you measure this. You know, your program is approaching 7 figures in holdout proven incremental revenue that would not have happened without direct mail measured via control groups. Can you explain what that means in practice?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny because I can't even imagine how we have vendors, let's test this and test that. And I don't know how you do it without a control group. But looking at it, so in practice, as you asked, doing a holdout group is we would identify maybe with a Klaviyo flow 5,000 people, let's say, that might make a segment, and we only mail the postcard to 4,000. So we leave back that 1,000, and we look at that conversion rate across all 5,000. And the difference between that 20% holdout and the 80% who got the postcard is your lift. And that can tell us the difference, the success of the postcard. If someone was going to buy anyway, and a good chunk are going to buy anyway, but knowing that lift actually gives us the educated information that we need to really value, to say, hey, yeah, the postcard is working or isn't working. And in almost every case, it has had a lift and a significant lift. Not 100%, but that's why we test. That's why we try different segments and different elements to see what works.
Yeah, that's right. Again, best practice that Eric is following here with introducing holdouts for the different audiences that are being targeted. So to your point, we don't expect everything to work 100%. The goal is to test into it, figure out what is working and is driving true incremental revenue, scale or automate those audiences or those strategies, and then reallocate budget from the ones that maybe weren't profitable. We might find that, a 3-time customer, we don't need to send them a postcard at 90 days or 180 days, but at 365 days, it's fantastic. So how do we scale that, automate that, reallocate budget to finding more and more pockets and cohorts that are working successfully across the entire funnel, and move away from the ones that aren't?
Sure. Eric, can you talk a little more sort of practically how, he mentioned holdout groups, how those impacted the way that you're sort of assessing the performance of direct mail?
I mean, looking at that lift is really how we assess the performance, because, as I said, customers are going to make that purchase, or a certain percentage are going to make that purchase. Looking at that lift is going to tell us how much better or how much earlier they did make that purchase. So trying to get them to either move up the time frame between orders or just come back in when they haven't. That's an essential metric to give us that information. Sure.
Your retention automations, the always on win-back flows, are showing real incremental lift. One of your win-back flows targeting high-value lapsed customers is delivering, I think it's a 12-time return on investment. How did you think about implementing automations versus sending one-off campaigns?
So the automations are really there to find those holes in the way we reach out to our customer. When if an email isn't working, if an email isn't getting through, if maybe they've fallen into an inactive segment, that's where we're trying to hit them up. And those are more just reminders, gentle nudges. Hey, come on back. Maybe there's a discount code. Maybe there isn't. So that's someplace else that we can test is with our own art and design for the postcard and what the offer is. But then the one-offs, what we've done is we really go after big promotions. So we do those for President's Day or Black Friday or Memorial Day coming up.
Sure.
And that's where we really, hey, big sale, please come back to our site, or we're going to have a warehouse sale, whatever that is. And that's where we'll go hit up people and try to say, this is a special event. And it could be someone who is in any one of the segments. It doesn't have to be someone inactive. We just want to be like, hey, don't forget, you may have just purchased last week, but hey, we got a big sale, come on back. And that's kind of how we treat the difference.
Sure. Michael, I see you. I thought, do you want to add something to that?
Oh, no, he said it all.
Well, your mail match flow, welcome flow, targeting new email subscribers who haven't purchased yet, has generated significant revenue with proven incremental lift. Is there something about the physical postcard to you that converts a subscriber differently than an email?
I think it does. I think having a postcard, people pick up their mail and they put it on their kitchen counter, or they put it on the coffee table, and it sits there for a couple of days or whatever. They walk by it, and you think about it. Emails, delete, and it's harder to break through. So I think that physically holding it does make a big difference. Additionally, XCVI is a little bit of an older demographic. It's a 40 and up. And I think also with the older demographic, I think sometimes that physical element is a lot easier and a lot simpler. And, I can see it. I can read the offer, and it's not just getting lost in the inbox.
Well, for you guys, is it difficult to track the success of a physical mailer, because that's different than the sort of footprint, the electronic footprint of a email or text?
Yeah, common question we get, how do I measure this, right? So Eric talked a lot about holdouts, but at its core, how do we know that somebody who got a card made a purchase? And it's actually really easy. Because we're natively integrated with Shopify, we know what address got a card, and we know that address went on to order something and have it shipped to that address. It's one-to-one attribution. It's super clear, and you're seeing it in real time too. So unlike direct mail of the past, where you were waiting on, you batch and blasted something, you got spreadsheets back months later. Like, this is a real-time dashboard, just like you would see with Klaviyo or Meta, and we're matching it back one-to-one at the household level. And holdouts are the best way to assess incrementality and who would have bought without receiving the card, and then how did they perform how did that group who did get the card perform, and see the lift in between. And that's what gives you clear understanding of what impact the direct mail campaign drove.
It's kind of funny because I always get those questions about, hey, how are we doing? And you're like, oh, you can go in and look at it, and 9 orders. Well, okay, it's been like 4 days. Come on, give it a chance. It's a mail.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's the other thing we see with the direct mail as a channel is longer attribution window. Of course, people are getting it. They have to go check their mail. They usually put it on their counter for a couple days, and it's staring at them in the face, and then eventually they buy. So we tend to see the peak of those orders come in about the 2 to 3 week post-send period. And we still see a long tail of conversions over the next 30 to 60 days.
More recently, you started prospecting using PostPilot's acquisition AI technology that builds lookalike audiences similar to Meta, model off your best customers. Tell us about that and how that's going for you, and what got you thinking about doing prospecting with direct mail in addition to channels like Meta.
Well, doing it, to answer your last question first, we looked at we've tried things. So we've gone through and we did the incremental or the automations. We've done the one-offs, and this prospecting is really kind of the next big step. It is a bigger cost than handing a small handful. So it was something we really wanted to proof of concept before we were willing to reach out and do a larger prospecting thing. But since everything else has been working so well, we decided, hey, let's do this. Spring to summer is really our busy season. We have a lighter weight clothing, so now is the right time. So we did our first postcard actually back in February, and our sales start to kick up naturally in March. So we did see that. We've just finished that. A 1 ROAS is considered good because these are all blind people. These are all lookalikes. We ended up with a 1.6, so we felt very good about that. And our second one we just did at the end of March. So numbers are still coming in, but we keep hitting refresh every day, and they're looking good. But we're anxiously waiting to see how that one turns out.
Sure. Michael, can you explain a little more about how direct mail prospecting with acquisition AI works and how you find those prospects and what kind of data you're able to collect?
Yeah, absolutely. So again, Eric's done a great job of just building this full funnel program. And if we sort of started out and the retention side of it was Klaviyo for direct mail, think of acquisition as Meta for mail. We are building lookalike audiences off of billions of attributes across all U.S. consumers. I know a lot about everyone in this room. We have a lot of data on everybody here and sort of all U.S. households, what you buy, where you shop, what you're into, demographics, psychographics, all of that. And we use that to build lookalike audiences the same way that essentially Meta is building lookalike audiences, using that data, using transactional behavior that we know about households, using intent signals that we know about households. And that's what gives us this real edge in our ability to target successfully new prospects in addition to existing customers. It's built on the fly. You run it just like Meta. You can automate this now. We just released automation for this, so you can literally have a drip prospecting campaign going out every day, just like you would have a Meta campaign that hits a budget cap every day, and you're seeing the orders come in, and we're continuously optimizing it as well because, again, we're integrated with Shopify. We're seeing those conversion points. We're using that to feed right back into the models and continuously optimize this to deliver a performance that really has never been possible in direct mail as a channel, because historically it was just going out to a list broker, buying a list. You don't know sort of how old it is. They only have certain attributes. We've really supercharged that with acquisition AI, and that's what's allowing us to get a lot better performance than what's historically been possible there.
Well, based on your experience, what brands are the right fit for direct mail, and how do you sort of assess their suitability or, where it could be the most effective?
Yeah, great question. So different strategies are best for different types of brands. So, higher AOV brands that have some level of name recognition, brands that have found product market fit already and are looking to scale and diversify their channels, find new incremental places to allocate budget, are great for prospecting. And retention as well. Other brands might not be as great of a fit for prospecting, but there's always something that's going to work. Like we work with thousands of brands. We know what works for all categories, and we're going to steer you into exactly what we know works because we have this data. We can even be predictive with this. So before you launch your acquisition campaign, our data science team will run the data and say, we have a high degree of confidence. We think this is going to hit your target, or no, we actually think you're not a fit for this, but here are the other types of strategies. One of the strategies that Eric mentioned was to email subscribers, for example. That's still new customer acquisition. That's called mail match. It's where we match your email subscribers to a physical postal address, even if they've never bought from you. That's a great way to convert more of those prospects that are a little bit warmer than cold prospects and tends to work consistently well across almost any category.
Well, we don't have much time left, but I want to ask both of you the same question, which is, what would you tell a brand thinking about using direct mail from your experience as a brand and yours from a facilitator?
Leave all the direct mail to us. No, seriously, go ahead. Like I said, try it. It's a low barrier to entry, and I think it's really testing. I think that's really the place to do is see where the opportunities are and give it a try.
Mm-hmm. And how about for you?
Yeah, I think, I'm biased, so I should say everybody should be trying it, but of course. But I think the reality is we make it really easy to try it as a channel. It's a managed service. We do everything from creative to account management, optimization, data science. All that stuff is just part of the service. So you don't have to learn this new channel from scratch. And the mantra that we have for our team is like, only suggest or recommend what we think is going to work for a brand. So if we don't think something's going to work well, we're going to tell you that aggressively. If we do, we will tell you that too, and you can test into it as Eric's done, prove it out, and then scale what's working.
Sure. Well, listen, I'd like to thank Eric and Michael for being up here today. Let's have a round of applause, please. And thank you guys so much for being here. Appreciate it.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.